lot, I think I do know about you lot, actually. We've all been very much looking forward to the new series of Heartstopper. And Heartstopper week is upon us. It is very exciting. When Heartstopper came out last time, series 1, we had so many emails from you all just saying, I wish I'd had this as a kid. It affected me so deeply. And it's been amazing to watch the reaction to it. It's been amazing to watch how the cast have gone on to fly. Like Yaz Demand is like face of YSL now. Kit obviously had his own stuff about coming out, and he was sort of slightly bullied into coming out, I would say, because there was so much speculation about whether he was gay or not, or bi or not, or this, that, the other. But, you know, the cast have become superstars. So series 2 comes with a huge amount of expectation. And if any of you haven't watched it, season 1 was all about it was celebrating young queer love blossoming at school in the most beautiful way. And it was based on the amazing graphic novels of Alice Oseman, which had a huge following, but I would say has grown considerably as a result of the show. I have no facts around that. It's just me speculating. It's everything I wish I'd had growing up, to be quite honest. And season 2 takes some big swings, as they say, and actually has already had a brilliant reaction. So what we're going to do is we're going to play you a little bit of our chat with Alice before season 1 even came out. This is a little time capsule from before anyone knowing what it was, anyone knew the massive smash hit it was going to be. And it's all got full of loads of behind the scenes little details about how Heartstopper was made and how Alice's vision came to life. And so here is an extract of her speaking about the importance of portraying friendship as well as romantic love when portraying your teens. You said a really interesting thing that I really liked, which was that, correct me if when I go wrong, because it definitely will happen, that a lot of YA stuff seems to be heavily involved in romance, and in some respects that wasn't true to you and your experience, let alone yourself, but other people as well. Is that right?
Yeah, that is true. And I think, like, obviously Heartstopper is a romance at its core, but like it also places so much focus on friendships and the power of friendship. Even in Nick and Charlie's relationship, that starts with such a strong foundation of friendship. And then obviously there's all the wonderful and hilarious friendships in the show, like Charlie and Tao and Nick and Imogen. And I've always thought that friendship, like when you're writing a teen story, it's so important to write about friendship too, because for most teens, friendships are going to be their most important relationships in their lives. Like most teenagers are not going to meet the love of their life in their teenage years. So yeah.
That's really interesting, isn't it? Because the things that do stick around from teen years is friendship, like you say. The things that do not stick around is the person who you went out with for 3 weeks was all massive drama, and everyone, all they spoke about for 2 weeks was that, and then no one remembers. It's funny how stories focus on that, though. Is that because we romanticize those periods of our lives or something? I never quite understand why.
Yeah, I mean, society romanticizes romance itself. I wrote an entire book about it. It's called Loveless.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And I think we do often place more importance on romance than friendship. So yeah, like I said, that was why it's important to me to include friendship in the story as well.
And you know, it's something that we underserve here on this podcast. You know, it's like LGBTQIA plus, you know, the amount of times I say that a week. But when we spoke to Yasmin Benoit, who's an aromantic, asexual person, you know, I've been so aware of how we've underserved that community on this podcast. And you identify as aromantic and asexual, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And what does that mean for you? Because I know it's very nuanced per person.
So for me, that's just not experiencing romantic or sexual attraction to anyone.
But what Yasmin was sort of quite keen to point out is that doesn't mean it means that you would have relationships. You know, this is her version, obviously, but and a family and all those kinds of things. They aren't. People sometimes close those things off for you. Is that right?
Yeah, I think there's a lot. I'm sure she went into this, but there's a lot of misunderstanding about what being aro or being ace is. you can be arrow and or ace and still want to be in a relationship. Yeah, it's very personal, and there are so many different experiences under those umbrellas. So it's complicated.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, I suppose if I can draw a parallel, being I'm a gay man, right? I'm a white cisgender gay man. I'm in the easiest category in the spectrum. We talk about it an hour once a week, and we're still going. And it's been going for 5 years, so even that's nuanced, even though it's the most understood. And what do you think were if there were any, specifics about being an aromantic person creating a story like Heartstopper, and what you wanted to portray about it as perhaps someone who hasn't experienced it in person, I suppose?
For me, I think it goes back to the topic of friendship, and Nick and Charlie's relationship. We spend so much time seeing them get to know each other without romance being involved, so that they have a really solid foundation that then goes on to being a romance. Beyond that, I really don't think about it much. Like, I just enjoy writing the story. I don't think about it, in terms of my own identity really at all.
Interesting.
But like, there is so much platonic love in Heartstopper. There's it's got a queer friendship group at its heart, and that is a really important element of the story as well.
I love listening to Alice speak. If you loved that, tune into the full episode. It's on the feed. Just search for Heartstopper, search for Alice Oseman. And if you're a Heartstopper fan, I cannot recommend enough that you give it a listen. And we're very likely to be catching up with the whole Heartstopper gang imminently in the future. Let's hope. All right, team. That was wonderful. What a lovely little lily pad of a visit into one of my favourite shows. Go look it up on the feed. Bye for now.
Powered by Spirit Studios.